Hey, welcome to Two Blurred Girls. I'm Tameka. That's Tamara. Welcome, baby.
Hi.
And we have hey, baby, and that's Baby K in the background, Tamara's daughter.
Mhm.
And we have a special guest. I like to call him a local Georgia celebrity, but that's just me. KJ Eldridge, KJ Eldridge,
Hey,
indie comic book writer and artist. Say hello,
hey,
KJ.
hi. Thank you for having me on this. This is an honor. This is really cool. It's I'm excited. I'm excited
Yeah.
to all this, be a part of this.
Yeah. And we're just gonna ask you questions just to just dig into your works and just talk about you, basically.
All right,
All
I'm.
right, cool. So you sent us two of your works. Uh let me know if I mispronounced anything.
Is it like
Woven, Woven, right?
Wulvern,
Wolverine
Wolverine?
and Argonautica.
Argonautica. Yeah, Argonautica. But
There you go. Boom. Shows how much I practice, right?
that's how, like when I don't like unless you hear it out loud, like you can read like a different author's name or an artist's name, and you create a pronunciation in your head,
Yeah.
and it could be that for years, and then like find out like 20 years later that you were wrong the whole time, and you know, so Argonautica, Wolverine, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and plus I'm from the South, so it has
Hmm.
a twang to it.
Yeah, because you have that southern accent.
Yeah, you do too, Tamara.
I
Jeez.
know. I have a mix. I have a mix
Whatever.
of northern and southern accent because I used to live
Whatever,
in
Tamara.
Chicago. So,
Whatever.
Yeah, mine goes in and out.
You're still from the South.
yeah, I
Anyway,
know. I'm from Florida, so
anyway, let's get started with the questions. I'll talk to you later after this show.
oh man.
Anyway, got a big celebrity on here.
Yeah.
Let's get started with the hey John from Movie Lovers Unite. Thanks for viewing.
Uh,
We have a so the question is tell us about the two comics, Wolverine and Argonautica.
okay. Wolvern is a werewolf story that's set in the Old West. It follows a werewolf hunter named Bart that has been he's kind of been sanctioned by the Vatican. He's part of this sect of warrior priests, and he goes rogue from the Vatican and starts doing his own thing. They send a bunch of other warrior priests out to take him out and to stop him from doing what he does. And you know, it all all heck breaks loose, and all of this is happening in the middle of this big werewolf civil war. So that's kind of what the Wolverine story is all about. Is following this werewolf hunter and just everything that he's going through, and you get to learn the people that are going after him, the characters, the different werewolves and the different werewolf factions and stuff. But it's definitely a very violent book, which you pointed out to me. The you like if you like a lot of blood and guts and real grimy, dirty, uh, old dirty western kind of stuff, like a Clint Eastwood movie kind of thing, and you might dig. And then Argonautica is a retelling of the Jason and the Argonauts myth, um, and it's kind of more comedic in tone, and it was actually started off as research I was doing for another project, and I was like, man, this story's too good. I gotta tell this story to get to the other one I want to do. So it's basically the book I showed you, and I got copies of them. I'll show you what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
please.
yeah.
This is Argonautica. This is the book. Um, See it, people at home listening at home. Sorry, but people are viewing. You can see it. Uh, but that's it's basically this volume of it is the gathering of the crew to get on the Argo. If you like Greek mythology, like history, and you don't mind me twisting the facts around to make to kind of uh, suit my own purposes on it, then I think you'll probably enjoy it. I think it's a little funny, action packed, kind of definitely a lighter tone than Wolverine. Wolverine's a little darker. This
Hmm.
is the Wolverine book. You can see that. But
Nice.
yeah, it's a bloodbath, so you see a lot of red showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, oh, really? Oh.
But those are my two books. Wulvern is actually written by close friend, best friend, Chris Gaynor, and he wrote it. Me and him kind of have hashed out the story and have worked on it for a long time. We did the first 5 issues and sold them all each individually. A lot of comic conventions, a lot of different comic book shops, especially in the Southeast. So some people might have actually bought it that are listening. Who knows? So the first volume is done, and I'm working on issue 6 as you know.
Ooh.
So I'm working on a lot of stuff at the same time. So,
Oh,
and then Argonautica is all me. That's me writing, drawing, lettering, the whole nine. So, and it's a way different tone. It's a different style, and the process was very different for both of those. So,
nice.
There's my pitch for the books.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I'll come back and ask you more about it, but Tamara has the next question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got a crazy toddler here.
It's okay. She is 1 year old, going on 2. It's okay.
Press buttons, but Kayla. Okay, you're going back to your daddy. You're going this way.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I guess she's gonna be the one asking questions because I can't get anything out.
Okay, I bet hers are gonna stump me.
Ashley.
My daughter will probably be down here soon, so maybe they can have a conversation.
Maybe. But there's like an art. I know Mika told me not to mention this, but there's like an
Okay, bye. Bye.
But yet you're still here.
Bye.
She's telling me bye. She's like, all right, you're done.
Oh.
Now she's on my phone.
I just got the hook.
Anyhow, there's like a. I just want to know, like, when you did the story. Sorry, I was being interrupted.
It's fine.
No, you're gonna lock my phone. Can you go back in your kitchen? Go back in your kitchen.
That was a fast podcast.
Okay, bye. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
No.
Good.
Kaylin.
Let me do the chat overlay so you can see, John, any comments that come up.
You might have to skip me because.
Okay.
KK, come on now.
Okay. Yes, Kaylin. So I guess you hang in there, Tamara. I guess I go to my next question.
All right.
It's yeah, you gotta start them young, and then they'll learn. So for the woven comic, to me it has the feel of Vampire Hunter D, and I'm not sure if you've seen that anime. Oh, yeah. And also Trinity Blood, because in the beginning you open up in like this priesthood, and there's a summons to capture these werewolves, and like it feels like the protagonists they're fighting this holy war. This is just what I'm getting, and you can tell me, oh, Tameka, you're reading too deep into it, but to me, that's what I'm getting from it. Like there's this holy war, and they're fighting in this world of monsters like werewolves, and they have to save the world, or the world will go into a chaotic spasm or something. That's how deep I got into the story. And you can say, hey, that's a little too deep.
It was deep.
I only mentioned the Holy War because I noticed the priests, you named them after the apostles,
Right.
like Mark, Luke, John, etc. So, are there any spiritual undertones in this comic?
Well, I think definitely anytime that you're going to reference or use the Catholic Church as an institution or as a symbolic kind of thing or a character in the book, any story, I mean, you're gonna be messing with those kind of elements. So those came about like first, like definitely the Vampire Hunter D. I've definitely seen plenty of Vampire Hunter D. I never watched Trinity Blood, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's good. You should see it.
Like Helsing in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those, like even Van Helsing with the Hugh Jackman movie.
I saw that.
I mean, that's kind of an archetype character that werewolf hunter, the vampire hunter. I mean, Solomon Kane, if you want to take back to the Robert E. Howard days. Like a lot of that stuff is very, like we're all drinking out of the same well, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of similarities to that type of archetype. But as far as like the like religious elements, the Catholic Church has definitely been a focal point in history of, especially if you look back to the like Inquisition, things that go bump in the night have always played a role in organized religion in some form or another, going all the way back. So it's in religion a lot of times is a way to explain things that you can't necessarily easily comprehend. And when you're dealing with like horror and gothic things and that kind of stuff, it just goes hand in hand. And we wanted I don't actually remember which one of us came up with the whole idea of as far as like getting the Catholic Church involved. I know we wanted Bart to be hunted down and be part of like a priesthood. And I think I came up with calling them the names of the Gospels, like the four Gospels. And it was more of like, man, this will be really edgy, like, but then it became like, like when you're writing something, you want to like have a little shock value, that kind of thing. But it kind of stuck, and we called them the secret Gospels. That's what we called them. That group. And instead of actually, those aren't their real names. Those are like code names that go all the way back. And so there's always been a John, there's always been a Mark, a Luke, a Matthew, and throughout since this group of priests have existed, and we'll eventually explore that history. Actually, we're going to explore a little of that history in issue 6 of the book, because we've already done that part of it, and we kind of look back and see like Bart's teacher and the people who taught the Luke character, who's the older one. And at the beginning, I think you read that this Luke is replacing the previous Luke, and he's actually the Luke from decades ago. So and there's a whole reason behind that. You'll read about it. And that's like the first couple pages, so I'm not spoiling anything. Like definitely a conscious effort to bring in that Catholicism and that institution, because it just evokes a feeling. Like if you're talking about those big giant cathedrals, like the papacy over in Rome, like all that stuff creates just like it creates a feeling. It's already there's symbolism already there. There's a you can't that I mean they have the best PR when it comes to horror and scary stuff and and stuff that you can put that element in there, and everyone kind of understands, whether you're a Catholic or not. You kind of know when you're talking about horror stuff, like going back to Dracula, everything, like so. And me and Chris, who wrote it, we're actually we studied history in college. Like we're history majors, so
nice.
a lot of the stuff that we pull from is from. So we're definitely bend the rules and the truth, and we do our own thing with it. But there's elements, or at least a foundation of real history. Like I think the first line, and I don't know if I'm going into in depth in this, but the first line, one of the first lines of Wulvern, when the cardinal is actually calling all those warrior priests together, the secret Gospels, they're talking about, we're trying to modernize the church. We don't ghosts and goblins and stuff anymore. We need to start dealing with social issues, because in the 1880s there was a strong movement in the Catholic Church to get away from the ideas of exorcisms and things like that. They got the new Pope in there. I think it was, I have all the notes somewhere. I don't know where it's at. But when the new Pope came in, there was an effort to modernize the church. There's always that effort, you know what I mean? So that was something we tried to play on from that. It actually worked out perfect. Like, there was a new Pope. Time-wise, we're going to bring the new philosophy to the church. So we got to get rid of people like Bart, who is kind of going AWOL and killing things and, bringing a bad name to the Catholic Church. So, because he's over there killing people with the collar on, so it's not a good look.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I guess I was this is what you were talking about. I was in awe of the bloodshed when he came across the sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. When he came,
I drew it, Chris wrote it, so we're all messed up,
Yeah, you are messed
I'm
up.
not a violent, like I want to draw puppies and kittens and
That's
rainbows.
what they always say. I'm not a violent.
And then, but like, if I gotta draw heads coming off and the whole nine. So,
but yeah, it was the scene where Bart encountered the werewolf clan or horde or whatever you want to call them, and the battle scene, the way you drew the blood, that's what I was talking to you about. The way you drew the blood was the reason I was fascinated with that artistic process. What is the artistic process for drawing the blood? It was like, because the comic is black and white, I should say, for everybody else. And then once the battle scene begins, there's this pop of color and it's very vibrant. It's like this red hue of color. Like,
it kind of reminds me of Sin City. It's
yes,
like black and white.
yes, Sin City, Dark City.
The fight, there's red. You see the color red of blood. So
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Well, one of the it worked out because, like, the story is very dark. It's very and so, like, we wanted to add some color to it, and there's like a hue throughout most of it. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's like, so it's like black and white, but it's a kind of a bluish tone to it. But certain things we did want to have color, like the werewolf's eyes are kind of a glowing yellow. The blood, of course, you definitely saw the blood. The blood is colored red. There's like a flames are colored in, and I think that's about it. So we wanted some very, like, certain visual cues that we wanted to stand out, and this was intended to be a very violent, bloody story, so we wanted the blood to pop even more. And I'm glad you picked up on the Sin City thing. That was such a, like, as soon as you open up a Sin City comic book or even watch the movie, as soon as, or either movie, as soon as you see that blood, man, it pops. There's other things, like, I mean, I'm not Spielberg or anything, but me and him are both Spielberg fans, and if you watch Schindler's List, it's completely black and white until the little girl with the red dress shows up, and there's like it's such a powerful moment. So we're not Schindler's List, but we wanted to create that contrast. Like, anytime you see color, it's significant, you know what I mean? And blood is definitely a significant part of this book. Like, what and in a lot of ways there's layers to it, especially with the religious stuff that's part of it, the horror side of it, and then just the aesthetic value, flames as well. Fire is cleansing, can be destructive, all that kind of stuff. And then the glowing eyes just look cool, so I put those in too. So. But it worked out, because if there was like a shadowy scene and there was one of the werewolves was in the shadows, you could see just the eyes and kind of stuff. It was definitely a conscious effort, and Sin City was definitely on our minds when we decided to go that route. And then plus, I was learning how to color when I first, because this is the first official comic I've ever done.
Really?
So, wow.
Yeah. So like, I was really learning the process and how to do things. And that's a lot of the book itself is like issue 1, from issue 1 to issue 5, there's like a jump in artistic quality and how I'm just you can see the process. You can see me growing up artist. And even in Argonautica, you can see different things that I'm doing in a completely different way. And then the books that I'm working on now, like Tree Flower, the new issues of Wulvern, the future Argonautica stuff, you're going to see that advancement in my artistic technique and skill set. So I know how to color a little bit now, so you'll see a little bit more of that kind of stuff. But I couldn't do it back then. So red was a really easy color to use, and it worked out for me.
Yeah, I was really impressed with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for
our next question.
Yeah, for Argonautica, for that one, did you had like, because I've noticed a little bit about it, but I feel like it's like a little political about, you know, how the government was treating the people. That's how I took the take of it. Is that where you meant to do, like, to say a little bit? I'm sorry, I'm not, you know, answering the question correctly, but I just wanted to know, like,
I'm stepping in it.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like, what in your mindset when you did that, like, did you was thinking about something political? Yeah, that's a fake knife, baby. Take it back to I'm sorry.
Hey, go ahead.
I'll say, like, as a creator, as a writer and artist, you're gonna pull in things that you see in the outside world, and sometimes whether you believe in something or not, you are intrigued enough to put it into your work. And there's no doubt that there was because a lot of it is based on the time period when I was writing it and creating it. There was throughout I wrote it before, quite a few years ago, and so my thought process, it didn't really change, but there were certain things I decided to take out of it because it would have been too on the nose on certain political. But there was some stuff that I definitely felt there was some parallels to what modern day feelings and stuff like that. And when I was writing it and drawing it, like, officially, while I was drawing it, a lot of the, like, about half of it was drawn during the quarantine period of the pandemic when we were all set up in that. So, like, and I think you guys can remember that that was last year, right? Not last year, but 2020 was a very hectic, crazy year, and there was a lot of stuff going on, and I was very much affected by it, like everybody was, and some of that is definitely put into it, like a lot of the ways that the king kind of treats people and the way some of his philosophy acts has definitely been pulled from the real world in a way, but it's not. I didn't want to write it in such a way where it would alienate a lot of people. So, like, I tried to keep it within character. Like, there was a couple of things that I wrote initially that I think could have been too obvious how I felt things and or how I didn't feel. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're writing a character whether you agree with that character or not. So you're writing what that character's thoughts are. So I definitely pulled from the real world, the current events and stuff like that for some inspiration for it. But there's certain parts where I tempered a little bit. I kind of softened it, and other parts I went all the way with it, and stuff that I think that could be more universal, because I wanted it to be evergreen. I wanted someone to pick it up in 2030 or 2040, read it, and not have to look at, well, I need to go and read what was going on in 2020 to figure out what this is about. So I thought in those terms. So I pulled some stuff out that was a little more specific. But yeah, you definitely picked up on it. It's not a overtly political book, but there are some elements.
Because like when I was reading it,
that enough? Dance around the
Yeah,
answer.
thank you though, because it was kind of hard to ask that though, because I'm like, was it meant to be that way? Because it's like
I,
after I was reading, I was like, I kind of feel like he's leaning towards what I'm thinking about certain things. So yeah.
was it, when you read it, was it distracting from the story, or was it more like
No,
oh, okay.
I just thought it was kind of interesting. Like Jason was trying to get his place back because his evil uncle took over the throne and everything, and he wanted to get his rightful place. And the king was basically a tyrant, just like how some people are in our wonderful world here.
I know.
Uh,
Okay,
So,
you got a little of that. There,
yeah.
if you look closely at some of the panels, you will see certain things. And I'm not going to tell you here. If somebody at a convention finds it and comes up to me and asks me about it, I'll let them know. But there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely in anything I do, like when I'm writing, drawing, I'm gonna throw stuff in there that's gonna be like Easter eggs of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
This
I need
one
to go
actually,
back through it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back
There,
through
there's,
it.
but yeah, there's some
Mhm.
definitely some like visual cues and stuff like that that I pulled from real life that just it was affecting me pretty heavily at the time and even now. But I tried to make it for a broader audience, but still be true to what was going on. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like, keep it as
Mhm.
ever possible because this story is going to continue. It doesn't end in 2020 or 22. You know, like I want this. This is a the Argonautica story is huge, so
Mhm.
I want I want someone to be able to pick it up later and be fine. So, but it's just like if you look at one of my favorite writers is Jonathan Swift, and you look at like Gulliver's Travels or Modest Proposal, like
Mhm.
read it for the story that's in it, or you can read it between the lines and see that there's deeper meaning in satire. So there's definitely some satire elements to Argonautica, but it's
Mhm.
also too. You can take it, you can take it just like I'm not saying it's Gulliver's Travels, that's a masterpiece, but uh, it definitely has that satirical element to it. So
Okay.
I think it's cool you picked up on it because no one's really read it, so I don't know what because it just came out. Like
Mhm.
I have no feedback, so I don't know if it's good. I think it's good, but I don't know if anyone likes it. I don't think it's you know.
I like it. I'm just sitting here. I was like, okay, is there like a part two? I want to see what
Oh
happens
yeah.
and
Oh, that's
everything. It's
if
like,
you enjoy this first. I'll say that for all the people listening and watching at home. If you get a hold of Argonautica book one and you like it at a at all, you will
mhm.
love it because this is the most this is the least interesting part of the story. This was, you know what I mean? Like this was
Mhm.
the part like I want to just get it out. It's a necessary part because you have to meet the characters. There's so many characters, like 50 characters. You know, there's all those.
Mhm.
You have to meet them. You have to see what's going on. You lay the
Mhm.
foundation. But after that, the next book that comes after it, if you like this one, you will love what's coming next.
Okay.
So it's fun. It's exciting. The satire is still there. The vulgar comedy that I throw in there is still there. It's amped up. The character you don't
Yeah.
productions are over. Like it's time to play with the toys that we have pulled out of the toy box.
Okay, so like a question for like part two, a little spoiler. Are there gonna
Okay.
be sirens in it?
Yes, but they're not gonna be in part two.
Okay.
I've written like if you I mean spoiler alert, I mean it's like what 6,000-year-old story, so like,
Yeah, the mythology.
like
oh, Lord.
there's the but the it's very long and I don't cut any corners on it. Like the next
Mhm.
story is what you would see. Like I did so it was fun. The research that I did for this story was so much fun because I love digging into the old history, man. Like and reading the original sources. Like I took the Apollonius of Rhodes Argonautica, read the translation, and that I mean that's why it's called Argonautica. But
Oh,
I read
wow.
that. I bounced it off of a bunch of other primary sources, read a bunch of just I've created this whole like if 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 it's like this really obscure thing that happened in a version because there's a million versions of the Argonautica story. So if it's an obscure version of the story, sometimes I've pulled from that and said, oh, that'll work perfect, you know, like that kind of thing. But yeah, like the next, if you can, the skeleton of the story is based on the actual Argonautica, that was written by, like I say, Apollonius of Rhodes. So if you want to know, if you want spoilers, just look at that. And the next, I changed the order of some stuff, but yeah, you'll have fun with it. Like those, there's a big Hercules, but I call him Heracles, scene in the middle of it, and you will notice that that didn't happen historically, well, mythologically, historically, when this went down, but it fit so well, so I used it there, and it lays the foundation for some other parts of the story, which I can get into later, when, you know, but so yeah, that's Argonautica is gonna be fun. I can't wait to get to those parts or get to the next stuff in that, or book 2.
So is it going to be available on the via internet, or you're going to have it like at a comic book convention or something? Like, when do you think it's going to be available?
You can definitely get it at any, like whenever I'm at the comic book conventions and come to my table, and but it's available on Amazon right now if you want the first book.
Okay, cool.
It's difficult to find. I've been trying to search it. You can KJ Eldridge. You can go to my website at kjeldridgeworlds.com. And follow the link, and you can go there, or you can get lucky and search for it on Amazon. But it's all there. Like the Wulvern book is there, the Argonautica book is there, and my novel is there. So the last night, and it's all one big giant story. You can do each one individually, but it's all part of the same. It's all part of the same things.
Cool. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, and speaking of your Facebook page, you have a Facebook page. It's called Other Worlds of KJ Eldridge. And I noticed there's a comic book on there called Tree Flower. Can you tell us about that?
All right. Well, this started out me and my wife. She knew that I was a comic book artist when she met me. She knew I made comics. She was interested in the process, and she wanted to kind of understand what my world was like, the creative, you know, making comics and everything and writing stories. And we decided it was before we were married that we kind of came up with this idea, but we saw it as a marriage exercise, was to write a story together and make a whole comic. So you know, we've in pieces at various times since we've known each other, we've worked on this story called Tree Flower that she has written. I helped her edit it together, but she wrote it, and it's like this big giant graphic novel that I'm drawing currently. It's the main thing I'm drawing right now. So it's and I can show you some pages from it, but it's I don't want to go too detailed on it. let me release to the world, but it's a story about it's a mysterious island that this military group sails to in order to use it as a staging area for an invasion of the mainland. This is an empire, like an imperial army. It's definitely a fantasy based thing, nearing the steampunk era, but not quite. But it's they get there, and it follows the main character, who we're gonna call Scout, and he is a land surveyor, and his job is to map out the island so that they can build an infrastructure on this island and stage their invasion. He's not much of a fighter. He's kind of a guy that's trying to find himself, kind of thing. And when he starts exploring the island, he finds out that it is inhabited by all kinds of mysterious creatures. And I'm not going to go too much further into it than that, but it is one of the most amazing stories I've ever got to work on. It's one of the difference, like if you notice my books that you guys checked out, they always say to be continued at the end,
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
more. this is one giant chunk of story that has a night, like a beginning, a middle, an end. It can continue, and it will, but it is a really satisfying, strong ending. And I mean, she killed it on the story. I think it's the best single story that I've worked on, and I can't wait till like people can actually really see it. But it's going to be awesome, and we've definitely working together has been a learning experience. I don't know if you ever tried to even go out to eat with your with your partner or spouse out there in the world, but uh, just like having to do this whole creative endeavor, we had to. I mean, we went through some serious rough patches, creatively, where I'm not used to working with somebody that other than Chris. Chris Gaynor is the one worked with and stuff. So I'm very possessive of my side of things. I like to intrude on the storytelling. Even like I see myself as a writer first. So like if I was writing something, I'm gonna invade. Like I'm gonna try to take over. And I had to learn how to step back and just more wiser versus uh taking control. And there was a lot. I had to basically learn how to work together with somebody, how to share, and and so like she had to learn how to work with me because she's a tough boss. She's the head of this project. So, and I had to tell her, I was like, I know you want this done a certain way, but I can't do that. Like I'm gonna do the best I got, but I can't do this thing. And then eventually I learned how to do that thing because she wasn't taking no for an answer. But like and you know what I mean. I don't know if you know Mia. She does not pull punches, but it's great. Like I think the artistically and my ability to visually tell a story has like exploded on this book. Like this is easily the best thing visually that I've ever done. Like I'll show you pictures and stuff like that of it in a second because I got the actual pages. If you want to look at them,
cool. Yeah.
but I'll do a flip through. I can't show too much, but
yeah. Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble.
Don't get in
You
trouble.
probably live that in basement
We
forever.
won't see you again. Don't get in trouble.
To keep an update because we've been kind of leaking a few pictures and just telling people a little bit about it throughout for like the last couple of years. It feels like it's been coming out for forever now, but it's about 150-page graphic novel. Adult storybook is what we kind of like called it. And it's I'm somewhere in the 50s on the pages, and I'm getting there. I'm gonna try. I'm doing everything I can to have it out by the end of next year, and so that people can see it. But I am doing every part of the visual process: the penciling, the inking, the coloring, the lettering, like the production, everything. So like I'm giving it my all on it. But yeah, so that's kind of like what's going on with that. And because like I said, everything I do is connected. It has been connected to the overall story of my last night's novel, Argonautica, Wulvern, all of that. So, and you, like I said, you don't need to read everything to get each one, but at the very end, 100 years from now, when I'm finally finished with all this stuff, you can put it all together. And oh, that was that. Oh, like it'll be like when Cap gets the hammer at the end of Endgame, and everyone goes, oh wow, that was all part of it.
Like a multiverse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, so that's probably the picture you saw.
Oh,
that is so pretty.
Yeah, that's kind of like our teaser thing we had. We've been out. And some of this stuff people have seen online, but this was like here's the like some pages.
Oh.
You guys see it? Sorry, this ain't good radio for anyone that's just listening, and this is like a pass that I did. That I'm still like relearning how I want to do the color on this. But that was like one of the attempts, and that was the one that looked the best. So it's kind of like I keep it in these books so that people can see like here's some of the crew members of the ship. That's one of the major characters up top. creatures, and you see the ship coming on, and let me see if I can find another page that doesn't reveal too much.
Yeah, don't get in trouble now.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the basement.
All right. Yeah, that's
That's his new home.
I've shown this around. So here's some like later pages.
Oh.
Wow.
This is just the pencil and the inks for these pages. But yeah, it's like there's this. Let's see. I'm not showing too many of the creatures.
Yeah, don't do it now. Don't do it.
The background, see some of the different expressions and whatnot. But yeah, that's some of this. That's part of Tree Flower, and I think it's like I said, it's one of the best things, if not the best thing I've like single story I've worked on, because it's gonna. I can't wait to finally have it out because it's been a long time coming, and it's the best artistic visual thing I've ever done. The story is fantastic. Mia, I mean, she killed it. Like it's inspiring every time that we have a discussion, like a production meeting about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have painstakingly went through every line of dialogue and acted them out and retried different things and played.
Oh wow!
I'm telling you, we went through everything. Like this is the most smoothest, tightest script we could possibly make it. It is gonna, bam! It's gonna be awesome. So, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for people to see it, eventually read it. I'm excited to give a gift to my wife, really, and to give this gift to finally have it. But started off as a kind of a, hey, let's work together on something, and then it turned into this like 5-6 year crazy project that's taken over our lives in some aspects, and but it's pushed us as creators to a certain level. And now, she's already writing the sequel to it and stuff. I'm like, yo, slow down. I ain't even done with this one. But it's an amazing story. So hopefully that piques a lot of interest, and I'll get even more people on my back trying to get me to finish the thing. So
Oh yeah, we'll do that too. Yeah.
I need people to let me know that
we can put the link to on our website and on our YouTube too. People can go see it. Especially the radio audience.
Yeah.
It can't see all
over the place.
It's exclusive. It's exclusive for you guys.
Yay. I'm like excited about it after seeing the artwork and knowing what the story is going to be about a little bit. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. So
I can't wait for y'all to see.
All right, Tamara, you got the next question.
Okay. Now, I noticed we mentioned Helsing because of, it's a Wulvern? Yeah. So is Helsing your favorite anime, or do you have something else, another show, as your favorite anime?
Good question.
Helsing is very cool, but my taste in anime has evolved and switched around, but for at least the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, my favorite anime is Steins Gate. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a time travel. It's kind of a more reality based one. Like it's a kind of a sign-in style like flavor to it. If I said that right, I'm sure. But it's
sure. Yeah,
we go with it.
Like
what's
that?
It's right.
I said we'll go with it.
We don't care.
It's an awesome anime. But man, the thing that fascinates me about anime, and when I first dipped my toe in the anime world, like I was, classic Dragon Ball Z, like Vampire Hunter D, Record of Lodoss War, Ninja Scroll, like that kind of stuff. So I was an anime fan in the 90s and stuff, when we just had bootleg VCR tapes and stuff.
Yep.
That was pretty much whatever somebody had in their closet. That's what we liked, So or whatever came on the Sci-Fi Channel at 6 a.m. in the morning, like that was about
good old days.
Up and
Cartoon Network, all that.
And I've when it first kind of changed, like I was, classic. I like Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, all that kind of stuff. But when it first changed, is Mia was watching Nana. Have you seen Nana?
Yes. God,
Okay.
that's so sad.
Nana, and they had a scene in there where Ren had a lock on his chain. I was like, oh, that's like Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
So I was instantly drawn in, and I started watching it, and I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, what is this? Like I never thought I would like a romance anime. So I got hooked on Nana, and and the ending of Nana kind of leaves you hanging a little bit. So I went and got the manga and I read all of that, and they leave you hanging because the lady that was making it got sick, so she never finished the story.
Oh wow.
So I really like Nana, and that kind of opened my eyes to more varieties in different animes and stuff like that. Recently I really liked Erased. Have you seen that one?
I haven't watched anime in a long time. It's like adult life got in the way.
That is, man, anime is like right now we usually have like a couple different family animes that we're watching, like me, Mia, and our oldest son Justin. We always watch an anime, and it's evolved over the years. Like Fairy Tail was like one of our biggest ones.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Watching Hero Academia, watch Sword Art Online. We've been loving Zombieland Saga. Like we've been watching that. I found that for some reason, what I really like is usually like more like reality based, like school age kids they got school festivals and stuff like that coming up. Like, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why am I like, but I think it's because I got kids now or something. Like, I got all, I can appreciate like the youthfulness of it. Like I watched all of K-On! And loved it.
I remember that one.
It's amazing. Like, and a bunch of people like the guy who drew Wulvern likes K-On! Like it doesn't make sense. Like it's about 5 young girls that play in a band, and they don't even play in the band that well. They're just screwing around the whole time, like eating biscuits and drinking tea. That show is about nothing. They're just hanging out, and I'm like, I can't get enough of it. They're making me laugh, like that. So I like stuff like that, like Toradora. What is it? Me, Love, and Shinubio, like that.
What about Hamtaro?
Hamtaro? Which one is that? Hold on.
It's like the
is
hamster.
That recent?
Actually, no. I was younger when that one came out. Like it came out in the 90s, early 2000s. Late 90s,
that was in my Dragon Ball phase, so I probably didn't see her Devil City and stuff. But like I like
you're looking at me like there's no such thing as Hamtaro. Look, I'm looking it up.
I believe it. Like I watched my roommate
as say anything.
You watched my roommate as a cat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So like I like all kinds of anime, but I've been going towards like the slice of life stuff lately. Like I don't know why. Like if it was like a live action show, I wouldn't watch it. But because it's in the anime form, then that it's interesting. Like there's a different storytelling style in the East versus the West.
Yes,
it's kind of like the way that they tell stories over there. Like it doesn't follow the same rules and same patterns. That they have their own patterns and their own rules, and it took a while to kind of like understand that. So I was like, I would never know what was going to happen next, even from like a story beat kind of thing. Like, so I've seen that. I've never watched it.
She just had to do it, didn't she?
So yeah, but Steins Gate is my favorite. I think that's the best anime that I've seen yet. So if you guys want, if you like crazy time travel paradox, if you like exploring the idea of CERN and all that stuff, like the particle itself. Like I like that kind of stuff. Like I have somewhat of a background in nuclear engineering, so I was enjoying the just the science part of it, even though it's sci-fi, but there is enough of little nuggets of the real stuff that, and the way that analyze the emotional beats being kind of matched up with the time travel beats. It's like, oh, it's great. That's my favorite anime. This Steins Gate. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've slice of life lately, but who knows what's next. I want to finish Attack on Titan. I loved Attack on Titan.
That's not slice of life.
No, there's definitely some slicing in there. But
well, there's an Ouran High School Club or High School Host, whatever.
I watched that. I like that too.
Yeah, is that, and then I think there's something called My Love Story.
I haven't seen. I don't know that one. So
yeah, that.
The movies are like Your Name, Weathering with You.
Yeah.
Miyazaki stuff, like all
Fruit
that. Like,
baskets. Yeah.
Fruit
baskets. I love Fruits Baskets.
Yeah. I watched a lot of the original, and I'm kind of catching up with the new version of it, and it moves a lot faster now. The story? I think they had more of the manga done this time around. I think it's finished probably. So
yeah, I just noticed that they're redoing like the shows that they came out during when we were little. They're redoing they're making it, when the American version, they're making it more like the mangas than they did. Like Sailor Moon, they changed the name. They called her Serena, even though it's Usagi. Now in the Sailor Moon Crystal here in America is now Usagi. But Sailor Moon back in the 90s was Serena, Amy, and I'm just like... And then when I sang the theme song to my friend, she yelled at me. She's like, "No, that's not the song." I'm like, "What is the song? It's not Fighting Evil by Moonlight." She's like, "No." And she played the Japanese version. I'm like, I like the Japanese version better. So
see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so they're fixing it. They're fixing their mistakes, Like back in the day, Sailor Uranus and Pluto were cousins, not lovers.
Sailor Moon stuff is over my head. Like I that's one I haven't really looked at yet. So
yeah,
I'm sure I'll get to it. I know Arwen is kind of infatuated with the Sailor Moon characters. She's slowly, walking into that world. So she'll, sure I'll see it eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know a lot of them. Like, was it Full Metal Alchemist? They original series before the manga was done. So they went and did the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood based specifically on the manga. So like I know, like I was reading about that. I was like, when somebody told me, yeah, you only need to watch, because I'm kind of a continuity nut that I want to like. Well, I need to watch the original Full Metal Alchemist before I watch. They're like, nah, don't worry about it. Just watch Brotherhood, because that's the whole story. That's the real story. So you'll just be confused if you try to watch the other one. So I was like, all right, cool. And then I watched that and I was like, oh man, this is amazing. Like,
yeah, because the first Full Metal Alchemist made no sense. They changed all of their names, and then like it's not the same character that you think it is. But in Brotherhood, it's somebody else. So Pride wasn't Pride in Full Metal Alchemist. So
probably didn't know who it was yet.
And that's what I try to tell my husband. I was like, you don't need to watch the first one. Watch Brotherhood. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, just watch Brotherhood.
We're supposed to review it soon. One of our shows, we may review Brotherhood.
Yeah, just Brotherhood. We're not going to worry about the other one.
But getting back to you, KJ, you have like Lunarverse Pro. That's your Facebook page, but also there's a YouTube page. So can you tell us about that company that you co-created or created?
It started off just me and Chris, the other creator of Wulvern. It was called Lunar Works Productions. There was we had to change. We ended up changing the name because there's another Lunar Works that works in Hollywood, and they're the owner of that company hit me up and said, hey, you need to change. They said, I don't want to get the lawyers involved, so you need to change it. And they were the people that actually did a lot of the side, a lot of the second unit stuff for What Dreams May Come and stuff like that. Like those movies stuff, and they were like, our production studio is not getting as much business because everyone, when they do a search, they're seeing all your stuff, and it makes us look like an animation company. So they were like, you got to change your name. We're bringing the lawyers in, and then I was like, nah, we can go ahead and change the name. It's no problem. So we took a while. And we figured out let's just call it Lunarverse, because we have our own universe and it's the Lunarverse, and we came up with that. So yeah, Chris, it started off with me and Chris, and we originated up in Augusta, Georgia, and there's a couple other artists that had a group called Studio Fizzy. And that was Nate Perry, Cameron, Jeffrey, aka the Black Rabbit, uh, um, Zeke McNeese, another guy named Brian Webb, and we just kind of like found each other up in Augusta, and we vibed really well together, and we ended up calling ourselves like a group called Lunar Fizzy. So, and we did a lot of conventions together, we did a lot of work together, and we just like we all became really close, good friends. And then fast forward a little ways, and eventually all of us ended up moving to Atlanta to specifically work together and be in creative endeavors, movies, comics, all that kind of stuff. Well, I moved to Atlanta to be with Mia, but like the overall the group moved down to Atlanta to basically invade and take over the creative side. For a while we all worked together, but all of us kind of have professionally moved into our own things. Like Nate Perry from uh he's a stunt actor for every Marvel movie you've seen in the last 5 or 6 years. He works with Idris Elba a lot. Chris, the guy who made the book with me, Wulvern book, he he's works in a ton of different Hollywood productions in Atlanta, because Atlanta's like the hub of movie making, right? I think we make more movies here now than Hollywood even does. But he's worked on every show, every movie around us at some capacity, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, whatever. He's done it all. Uh, Cameron, he's in animation. He ended up working on the Archer show for a couple seasons. He does like, oh man, he works for some animation company. I forgot, but he's in the animation world. Brian never came down. He stayed in Augusta. But like I'm kind of like the last holdout working on comics and that kind of thing. Everyone still is part of it, but they don't do it. They've all got professional creative jobs, and I'm writing and drawing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so we end up moving down here, and actually the picture on the back of the screen that is Bart is actually drawn by Nate Perry. So if you can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different style than I draw. So but
Um,
we're all super tight still. Like Nate comes every time he's back in town from like flies all over the place. He comes and hangs out with the kids. Me and Chris still hang out all the time. Me and Cameron still hang out, and we do like a artist meetup in Atlanta, artist meetup. So me, him, and a couple other comic book artists and stuff from the Atlanta area get together, usually once a week or so, to vibe and kind of work together and stuff. So, and another like I'll plug them too. Like Cameron does his thing. Black Rabbit, if you want to find him, does amazing work online. You can find him on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. Josh Hood is another one that comes out often. I do a lot of shows with him lately. Me and him both went to Seattle for Emerald City a couple of weeks ago, and we're doing South Carolina Heroes Con, and so you'll see a lot of my work with his and Cameron's, especially from the comic book side of things. So like you can find him online. He's drawn every character: Spider-Man, Flash for like DC, Marvel. Worked on Dark Horse and Black Mass Studios. We Can Never Go Home, that kind of stuff. So like they're all super talented people. I try to hang out with as many like talented artists and creators I can. We all kind of like it's making things it can be a very lonely place, and it's nice to vibe with other people just to, at very least, talk trash about whatever you want to talk about. Like, what are you working on right now? Show people what you're doing and that kind of. It's a nice support group, I guess. But yeah, we're all a big artistic brotherhood that came down here together.
Yeah, because I saw some of the films. We talked about one in particular was Lunar Christmas, and I think it was like, was it like the Grinch versus Santa?
Yeah,
Grinch versus Santa.
What's that? What the premise was?
Lunar Christmas. Like oh man, what was I don't even remember the story. Like,
I just saw like the Grinch, and you guys were in the woods, and it was like the Grinch, and then you guys were battling.
Yeah, me and Rudolph I was playing Santa, and I was wearing a black Santa suit. Like,
yeah.
And I had an argument with Rudolph. That was played by Chris Gaynor. And then the Grinch was played by Nate. So if you want to see some of the early stunt work from one of the best stunt actors in the business right now, you can watch that. So I got to fight him, and I beat him. I think I won.
Yeah.
But yes, and even Justin, my son, is in it. He's at the end, so he plays Jack Frost.
Oh, hey, Kay, we miss you. Did you see Lunar Christmas? You did? Oh, it was good. Yeah, wasn't it good? Yeah, it was good. The other film I saw, it's called is it Practice Film? No. Anyway,
find the Lunarverse works. No, I think it's Lunarverse Pro YouTube page. You can find all kinds of stuff on there. Like I did some of that. That was mostly Nate and Chris and a couple other guys like Cody Kaler. They all work in the industry now, so you can see all the pros that are working, and you can see all their like a bunch of shorts and stuff. This is how they practice to get to the point where they could do it. Do it. Like you can see sort of what it takes to get there. But yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. Like,
yeah, I'm really impressed with all the fight scenes and just everything you guys got going on in that channel. I was like, wow, geez. Like it just felt like a Hollywood production. Like, oh, is anybody holding back their punches here? And I know you don't actually hit people, but you guys did a good job.
There was some contact made on some of those. Like,
okay.
Few bruises, but it's all Hollywood magic. Like, but yeah, I did more of the movie stuff earlier on, and I'm more interested in the writing and drawing aspect. So, but I'm not really ever that far away from a film situation. Like, so anytime Chris is doing a short film or whatever, he directs a lot of stuff in the Atlanta area. So I'm usually a phone call away if they need somebody to do something stupid. I'll come and handle it for a day or whatever. Yeah. So like I don't do it as much, but I'm definitely I'm not too far away from it. Like, so actually, like, part of our crew, like, I gotta send a shout out to Justin David, who just starred in a movie. He's another one that works with us. Just started in a movie on Lifetime with Reba McEntire. He got like third billing. Yeah, so he's in that. I forgot what the movie is. Man, what's it called?
Yeah, look that up.
Look it up. Whatever the last.
I can't. I might have to ask my mom because she watched Lifetime.
He plays yeah, it's like whatever Reba McEntire was in, like in this past Christmas. And then another guy that works with us a lot, Kevin Saunders. Do you remember? Did you guys watch the Captain America Winter Soldier and Falcon show.
Yes.
You remember when Falcon shows up in his Falcon cap, Captain America outfit, and the guy in the crowd says, "That's my Captain America." You remember that? That's one of our guys. That's one of the guys that works with us.
What?
So, yeah, so, like I gotta shout him out, man, because that's huge. That's like that's the line of the show, you know.
Yeah.
So that's Kevin. So we work on a lot of stuff together. They're all moving on. They're all doing big stuff in the film world. So I still, anytime there's a script, I usually give it a second pass kind of thing and try to edit it. And
yeah.
So that's more. I help more behind the scenes on a lot of stuff, but I've definitely shared the small screen, the super small screen with all those guys. They're all moving on, doing big things, and I'm excited for them. Anytime I didn't even know that Captain America line was coming. When I saw that, I was watching. I was like, "Oh my God, it's Kevin!" Ah!
I know him.
Yeah, that's my boy. Like, I didn't even know he was doing that. And then, like, it's just crazy. It's cool watching them because, like, this world is so small, and especially in Atlanta, the Hollywood scene, they're making so many productions. Like, I lose track of who's working on what. And then, like, every once in a while, one of those guys will pop up, and I'm like, oh man, like, that's crazy, he's in there. Like, or someone will be doing background work or something, and then they'll walk across the screen. I was like, oh, that's Chris, what are you doing? You wrote Wulvern.
Chris, what you doing?
Yeah.
Well, Tamara, you got the next question.
Okay, let me go through my question list. Okay, what was the first comic book you bought, and was there what impact did it have upon you?
Now, that's tough because that was a long time ago, and I don't remember which comic it would have been. It could have been like,
you got this.
All right, so I'll make it more of a scenario because I don't remember exactly what the first one was, but my parents, when they would take me to a gas station, they would sometimes, like, to give me a treat, they would give me $1, and they would say, "You can get anything you want at the gas station." And normally I would get some candy or ice cream or something like that, right? Probably like 6, 7, 8 years old, and then I saw the spinner rack, and I had comics for $1, a couple comics for $1, and I made a business decision. I was like, I can either spend my $1 on all these candy bars or whatever, and I'll be finished with them in like 20 minutes, or I can get this comic book and read it over and over again, and that's how I picked up the comic. So likely it was a Batman or a Sergeant Rock kind of thing. That was most likely. I know some of them that I got because I still got most of my comics I had when I was a kid in a box in the back. So it's one of those in that box. I don't know which one, but then I moved on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the 80s. That was huge, and then that showed up, and so somewhere in there I became very, like, addicted, like a lifelong fan of comic books, like the medium itself, and just like the cool characters with all their costumes and stuff. Like, I don't even have a favorite anymore. I kind of love them all. I love Superman. I love Batman. I love Wolverine. Like, I love Captain America, Wonder Woman. Everybody. I don't really have a favorite or anything. But it was one of those comics at that point in time. I kind of got into it. It was most likely it was a Batman comic. It was probably the first purchased, and then and then it was like probably Ninja Turtles was right behind there, and Sergeant Rock, because my dad was in the Army, so I had to get that military comic to see what he was up to. Yeah, so but yeah, now I read so many comics now, like the whole, if you can see behind me, like, that's all comic, like graphic novels and trades and all that stuff, and then on the other side is a bunch of books and everything. I got boxes in the back, and now I'm reading everything digitally, so I basically have the entire comic book library on my phone. So I can. So I'm always reading some comics, like, so. Pretty up.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that your favorite character is Batman. That's all I can say.
Yes, Tamara likes Batman. That's her favorite character.
Is it? I don't know if he's my favorite. I don't know. It fluctuates. Like sometimes.
Do you think you're gonna see the new Batman movie?
I'm sure I'll see it, but I used to be every time one of those movies came out, I was there at midnight to watch the premiere. I love having kids and plus the pandemic, and I kind of end up seeing them on streaming when they come out.
That's good too.
But eventually I'll see them. Like I still haven't seen Spider-Man. Yeah, I really want to see the new Spider-Man. Don't tell me nothing if you've seen it.
I did.
No spoilers.
I'm not saying anything. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't. Not like I saw it twice.
I just know that Eternals is gonna come to Disney Plus. So
yeah, it'll be on Disney Plus eventually.
KJ and I might have to wait.
Yeah, I got you. Am I frozen now?
No.
On here?
Do
okay,
this.
cool.
I was.
I'm frozen in my view. So that's cool. I don't need to see me move. I just it stopped. It froze on a very unfortunate face of mine. So so I was wondering if that's what y'all were seeing. Like
no, some of mine froze too.
So I was like, all right.
Yeah. that was going well, not what you just said, but going into my next question. Do you prefer a digital or print format for your work?
For my work?
Yeah.
I do like the physical copies of my work because like it's always, as a creator, it's kind of like a dream to have a actual book in your hand that your name is on. And as you see, I love my bookshelves. I love having all the to have my copy of my book on the same shelf as like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And, it's a pretty big deal for me. So like I do like that, but I've found that I like reading digitally now more than I like. I don't know if I like it more. It's just like it's I blame Arwen. All right. When she was a baby, the night feedings, you got to get up in the middle of the night and do feedings and stuff, and she would not go to sleep. So I was like, well, I don't want to, I got to walk around with her, and I wanted to read. So I was like, what am I going to do while she's like, on my shoulder? So I was like, at first I started bringing out like graphic novels, and I'd lay them on the couch, flip a page, and I'd walk around, and then she eventually started attacking the pages. So I was like, so I got the Marvel Unlimited app, which is basically like Netflix for Marvel.
Yeah.
I started one-handing it on my phone, and for about pretty much the whole time she was a baby, I was like reading digitally. I was like, man, I'm just flying through comics. Like, get up as many times as you want at night. I'll just read comics, So like it became like I just became more of an efficient, easier way to read things. And I still love getting the physical copies, but now I don't really buy the I guess the individual floppy comics that you get from the comic book shop as much. I'll read all those online, but if it's like more of an indie book, I like to buy the actual physical copy. Like so probably in the last 4 years or so, I've bought everything I've bought physically is for the most part like some type of creator owned or independent book that I've usually got at a convention or some comic book shop. But if it's like a Marvel or DC or even like a lot of Image books, I'm pretty much reading those online, whether it's Hoopla or Marvel Unlimited or DC Infinite. Like, man, that's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Like for as far as like reading comics, like I'm like, they're just giving me like comics to read. Like, this is amazing. Like, so yeah. So I guess that's a long way around saying I like both.
Yeah.
But I prefer like people buying the physical book. But there are a lot of the issues, the individual issues of Argonautica and Wulvern are available on Comixology, I think a lot of them are. I'm not positive on that. But I know issue 1 of Wulvern is, and 1 and 2, because I broke Argonautica into 3 volumes for the digital release. But issue 1 and 2 is available on comics.
Okay.
But third part of book 1 is not, and I don't know if I'm gonna put them on there. I'm not sure. I should probably, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Like,
up to you.
I get them all on Amazon, so that's easier. Find me at a convention.
Amazon. Huh?
Oh, it's your turn.
Well, I pretty much already answered all my questions. So my questions are like completely done. I just got check marks all over them.
Oh, okay.
But I do want to ask one question, but Mika, you specifically told me not to ask about it, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
Might as well get into it now. We'll just make this a explicit show.
Yeah, okay, this is gonna be an explicit
We'll
show.
just put E for explicit.
In bed, but my child decided not to go to bed anyways, so
she's too young to know what we're talking about anyway.
Yeah, I noticed something in Argonautica. I took a picture and I sent it to Mika, trying to see if it's me. Is it me, or do you see the same thing too?
The book out here.
Yes, you.
Okay, let me get the picture. You might have it in the book. You might pull it up really quick.
It's a hot book.
I'm frozen. I've noticed that I'm frozen, but
what do you think that's supposed to be? That doesn't look like anything. All right. So there is a line. Here we go. There's an explanation for that.
Oh, okay.
I'm frozen, so I don't know. But if you turn to page
394.
I don't know.
Turn to 394.
It's a scene where Jason is entering the city for the first time, probably real. And he speaks to this guy right here. Makes an offhand comment about, because Jason is trying to find. He's like, "Where can I find the king?" And the guard at the gate, who I forgot his name, which is a main character, and there's like 50 characters, so yeah. But he says, "I can't believe you're asking me that." Like he points at the tower that looks like that. He's like, "Which place do you think the king lives?" You know, he's the most self-important bad word in the kingdom, you know, so he's gonna have that house. Like that's his tower. So if you're reading into that and you're seeing something that may be explicit, I don't know what to tell you.
I just think it's so funny. I was like, wait a minute, I just don't know.
Jeez.
There's a lot of vulgar visual jokes in there. I don't want to say all of them, but I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old, 13-year-old.
Isn't that most moving?
I think we all do. We all.
I will. Yeah, I'll laugh at real like highbrow comedy, but I have no problem with the fart jokes and other jokes. Like they make me laugh too. So yeah. So whatever you see is what you see.
Oh, okay. You were right, Tamara. You were right.
Yeah, I was right.
I didn't say you were right. I'm just saying whatever you see is what once my book or my story is out into the world, it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, that means you're right.
Like the political stuff. I'm not making a statement on anything.
Okay.
If that's what you get from the book, then
Yeah. The king is overcompensating.
But the king is over. Like it's like a big truck. Like
yeah.
That's
this show is going off the rails.
I don't know. Is the kids listening?
We had a strong. No, we're gonna make this E. Explicit. We had a strong start, and then it just
went left.
Yeah. Well. This is where I was thinking on. Like
that's how most of our shows go.
Yep.
Like Greek mythology, right?
Right.
if you go past the Disney version and you actually read Greek mythology, that's some dirty stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's some crazy, like, just like everyone's doing everybody. Like that's
Yep.
a like all that kind of, and they're not just doing people. There's like animals coming out of the woodwork. Like, and so I knew that, like, I was kind of hesitant about adding stuff like that into the story, but I looked in the future and I know that there's certain like adventures that revolve around like very adult topics. Like actually the next one is going to have very adult flavor to it because there's no avoiding it, right? So I was like, well, I have to dip my toe in the water on this kind of stuff. And if you're reading this, then you know what to expect going forward. Because I mean, look at Zeus's history, his dating history. Hence, like Hercules. Hercules is not the cookie cutter hero. Like he didn't just fight people. Like he dominated people in a lot of ways, and it wasn't just women. It wasn't just men. It was everybody, everything. Mythological creatures. He's doing everything. So like once you kind of have to make that leap you have to like kind of accept it. So like why not laugh at it? Like so this is the little taste of it, and then there's gonna be more coming, but just be prepared. Like so it's not a story for kids. And Greek mythology at its heart is not really a story for kids. You can pull the lessons and the fun stuff that they show in the elementary school, but like you get in if you read the actual stories, man, it'll make the gnarliest sailor blush, like if you really think about it.
Yeah. Because like Toy Story and all these other films, there's some little hidden innuendos in those. So why not?
Too much. It's there.
It's there. I seen it.
Yeah, Tamara, you're right.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it.
Okay, I'll tell you when we get off the show that you're right.
The people on the video show can form their own opinions on that panel, and
see, this is good. Like everybody's like, "What are they talking about?" Let me get that comic.
You gotta read the comic to see what I'm talking about.
$12.99 on Amazon. Go ahead and get
it. $12.99 on Amazon. There you go.
Yep.
Pitch it.
The KJ Eldridge. Yeah, let me give you Elmo.
Oh God.
Mama. You want Minnie Mouse?
Yes, girl. Yeah.
Here's Minnie Mouse. Okay, you can go now.
Minnie Mouse.
Okay, I love you. Okay.
Oh.
Bye.
Tamara's down. Okay, she's okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right.
She knocked down my tablet.
Oh boy. Hopefully you see that page.
It's fine. Oh. Let me put it far away. They can't see it.
I think
that's good. That's good. Yeah, I can't even see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it. Okay.
It's not that bad. What are you talking about?
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
So you read the whole Argonautica book, the first volume?
I read I read it all, and I'm like sitting here waiting because they sailed away. So I'm just like, okay, I need to read more.
Oh, cool. So you liked it. It was cool. Like you were.
Yeah, I was cool with it. Yeah, because I like mythology stories myself. I have a couple of books in my living room. I took AP literature in high school, so I kind of got into mythology like more, and I just want to understand more of the stories and stuff. So when I read, that was the first comic that I read. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this one first because it looks interesting. And when I found out, it was like, oh, it's about myth. Oh my gosh. So and plus I thought it was kind of cool on how you changed Hercules' name, the spelling of his name. So I was like, that is pretty awesome. So yeah, I like the storyline. I do. Yeah. To me, I just felt sad for the main character, but I'm just sad because of what happened with his family, but I'm happy that he's trying to get his place back. So
Yeah.
that's all I can say.
Yeah, and you know where I went.
Yeah,
blood and gore.
we read two different stories. Like I thought that she read the mythology one first, and I didn't know she read the Wulvern. I'm like, okay.
I was like, oh, look at all this blood.
Yeah, and it's like when I was going through it, I was like, ooh, blood. It's about werewolves. Why did I read this one first? So
See, we covered both of them. There you go.
yeah,
Both cover.
yeah, because it's like she was like, it kind of reminds me of her like an anime. And I'm like, anime, and I had to go through it. I'm like, Helsing.
Trinity Blood. Trinity Blood is about the Catholic Church. Trinity Blood recruited. I forgot his name, but they recruited him. He's a vampire, and he's out to hunt other vampires. But he believes in God.
Yes. But there was another one too where it was about the Catholic Church killed Dracula's wife, and he sent all of the demons into the earth to destroy all humans because the Catholic Church killed his wife, and his son is trying to stop him.
What PJ said? Okay, is that the name of the character or
Alucard
from Helsing?
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm not sure if that's. I don't remember the name, but I just remember watching it on Netflix. I know it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's Castlevania. It was actually written by
Castlevania. That's what it was. It's Castlevania. Okay, go to Dada. Mommy's doing a podcast.
I think they called Dracula's son Alucard in the Castlevania.
Yeah,
I know it's from
Castlevania is really good
game. I played it on way back. But
that's a good series.
It is.
I played way back in the dark ages of Nintendo.
Yeah, but we have two, so you're not in the two dark ages.
No. You're
play
fine.
Duck Hunt. Play that.
I don't know what to do with my almost 2-year-old. So.
Oh gosh.
I'm surprised Arwen has not been down here. So.
Helsing? Yeah.
It was Helsing.
Yeah, Helsing's good too. Yeah,
well, Helsing is good.
PJ.
That's one of my favorite anime. So that's my favorite one of them.
I found that like there's definitely a contingent of Helsing fans that have commented or at least like have really enjoyed Wulvern because there is a similar tonality to it.
Yeah.
I never saw it until after because one of the guys actually cosplays as Alucard a lot in the local Atlanta conventions. He actually was like, you need to watch Helsing. And let me hold his DVDs, and I watched them. I was like, I can see why you're digging Wulvern. Like this is definitely a kindred spirit to that series. So.
Yeah, because like when Mika and I were talking about it, at first it was like, okay, they're like anime nerds, and they kind of got the storyline, the idea from Helsing and stuff. That's like before we sat down and talked to you about the comic that you did with your friend. We thought you guys got the idea from Helsing or any other anime shows that had to deal with werewolves and vampires, but it just seems like you guys just came up with the idea all together.
Yeah, I'm sure that we pulled influences like out of the air. Like that card like Bart is a specific archetype for that anti-hero that vampire hunter D.
That's cool.
Which is a lot of my angle that I came from it when Chris first kind of approached me with the story. He was actually wanting Bart to be a vampire hunter. And I was like, dude, man, there's a million vampire hunters. I even brought up Vampire Hunter D, and we talked about it, and he was like, what about werewolves? No one's doing werewolves. So I was like, there really isn't a werewolf hunter like that, or at least we didn't know any. And we talked about the story, and got me really interested in the story, and you'll see a little bit of it if you watch the the YouTube movie that I was telling you about, I think before we got on there, the
Mhm.
Wulvern there, kind of like an origin story is when I started. The one cool thing about being a comic book artist versus being a comic book writer, and I'm both, so I know both sides of it. As the artist, you spend so much more time with these characters. As a writer, you write Bart steps into a saloon and kills everyone. Well, as the artist, you got to draw that, so you're
Mhm.
spending hours on that scene. So like I had to go through and kind of really think about what Bart was as a character, and a lot of the specific inspiration that I took for Bart and the way he carries himself is more of Clint Eastwood. Like I really like Clint Eastwood cowboy movies. Like Unforgiven is really cool. The specific one that I really kind of like was drawn to was the Outlaw Josie Wales. That he was actually one of his first movies that he directed. But yeah, that's a cool movie, and Bart almost feels uh like a uh like a doppelganger of Josie Wales. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's from the late '70s, early '80s, but it's one of the great Clint Eastwood cowboy movies. But it's after he did the whole Man with No Name, like the Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and that stuff. But there's that's the angle I took on it. And Chris was even gonna call him Bartholomew Kane, and I was like, "Have you ever heard of Solomon Kane? He wears the hat. He's a Puritan killing all these monsters. Like we're gonna get sued through the teeth for this thing. Not we got to come up with another name. So we came up with another name. Like we were really in, like I said, history, right? I don't know if you
Mhm.
noticed, but and it's not really a spoiler, but his name is Bartholomew Plantagenet, which is the name of one of the original uh, English royal family, like Edward the First, Edward the Second, the one for Braveheart, were the Plantagenets. So we were like, man, that's a crazy name. Like, who's named Plantagenet? So like, we'll call him Bart. So let's get rid of Kane because everyone's named Kane. Let's come. So we pulled a lot of different like influences, but like he was mostly influenced by the outlaw Josie Wales as far as
Mhm.
his from my perspective. Bart, I mean, Chris has his own, like he created the character. I just tweaked it and spent way more time with it because like I'm drawing it for hours a day kind of thing. He right fraction of that time. He's definitely thinking about it, but he doesn't spend. I spend a lot of time with that horrible man, like drawing Bart. And I don't know if you, like, uh, I'm curious, like, do you see him as a hero after reading it? Like reading what you read, is he a good guy?
Well, to me, no, because I like werewolves.
I guess. We, we,
Bias.
no. I like that because, like, one of the things that we wanted to do, and that's the exact response we want. What like, is Bart was supposed to, as you're reading it, at first you're reading it as like, oh, this guy's like a this is a bad dude. He's so cool. He's killing all these things, doing all this stuff. And then you step back and think about it. This guy's a mass murderer. He's just killing. Like, he's indiscriminately killing these werewolves. He calls them the spawn of hell. Like he's
Mhm.
argument about it. Like he doesn't even see them as like living creatures that even deserve to. They don't deserve to live and stuff. And as you get farther into the story, you start realizing that I don't know what to think about Bart. Like he's a very controversial type of guy. Like as a lead character, and hopefully like we've written his origin story. We've written a couple other adventures. We have like the next volume written out. Like you're gonna see like is he a good like that was kind of that was the thing that drew me to him as a character because I know like the initial response we've gotten from people that are like fans of the series are like so cool. He's like killing everyone like the Punisher. And makes you look, is the Punisher really a good guy? Like like that kind of thing. Like so and his origin you'll look and there's a reason why he has this mindset. And
Mhm.
like a lot of times people have compared him to Batman
Mhm.
and they're kind of mixed and like no he's a mass murderer, he's a killer, like and he's his views on things are very stringent like he's got a very strict idea of the way the world works, and he has no conscience, and that's like that's not really a spoiler. You can kind of catch that in the first couple of pages, but he's a really he's a despicable, dark character that I spend a lot of time with. So I think about him a lot,
Think about
it. And hopefully, like as more comics come out, you'll see he is a 3-dimensional type of character. If stuff happens in this volume that is kind of unexpected, especially if you look at his past when eventually you get to read about that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's gonna be a lot of controversy coming. It's not an easy subject because we're paralleling a lot of things that happened in the real world throughout history in some ways that are atrocities. And like a lot of good sci-fi, we hope that we're good sci-fi or fantasy, we're commenting on real things and just putting a gloss of the supernatural over top of it, or sci-fi on top of it to kind of real world. So like he may be a lot of people's hero starting off, but when you find out his story, you might change that. And can a person that is at this low point, can he find some type of redemption, or will he even seek redemption? I don't know. So that's kind of that's where we're kind of heading in that direction. So it becomes more of a character study of this, possibly despicable, terrible man. But those are interesting people to study. Like,
yeah.
You got to dig in some real ugly places to get to find really understand them. So
yeah, I was going to say that he's like an anti-hero, but until the other stories come out, maybe my opinion will change.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I dig him. I don't know, like he's totally justified. Like, but he definitely there's an evolution of character for him, and it goes in both directions. So I'm excited about that too, because it's such a complex, possibly definitely controversial, the way certain elements that you can pick up on if you really look at them close enough in this volume, and you look at history, you can kind of see what he's coming from and where his mindset is, and as it goes, and if you like, so I don't know, he's an interesting character, and we've spent, like I said, spent a lot of time with a real dark part of the world, like the mindset. But one day it'll all come out.
Yeah. Well, until it comes out, he's an anti-hero.
Yep.
Like Vader.
Like Vader.
Like Vader. Yeah, like Vader. You know how I feel about Vader.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he was just going through stuff. He didn't mean to kill those children.
No, he was like someone told him to do it, and he did.
Yeah, it was on the path of redemption. The kids had
the poor kids.
That's a whole new that's like a 3-hour podcast right there. We're talking about Vader. Me and my oldest son, then we didn't get into it. We had this long debate on it about like what if could you get all of Vader's powers but not the dark side tendencies? Like I was like, I don't think you can. The Force doesn't work. At least maybe not the Kylo Ren. Last Jedi they changed some stuff, but it's pretty cut and dry. You get Vader's powers, you start using that dark side powers, you're gonna get corrupted.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. That was a whole thing. He was like,
okay. Yeah.
You not get corrupted. It's like a tool. Like a screwdriver isn't evil. Like that. All right, I guess. Like, I don't know what movie you're watching.
Oh my god. I gotta be in on these debates.
Oh, you get Justin on this. He'll set you straight.
Oh yes, I'm sure he will. Yes. But okay, so that's a good note to end on, by the way. But let's come to the end of our show. KJ, tell people where they can find you and find all your works.
Let me look at my phone to see what my social media handles are, because I can't remember them.
Okay. And then we'll talk.
find my name, KJ Eldridge, right? Let's see. You can. A lot of my artwork is on Instagram. Let me see what my name is on that. It's KJ Lunar, KayJayLunar. You can find me there. Twitter, if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at KJ Lunar Night, or just look up my name, KJ Eldridge. But you can find all that if you go to my website, KJ Eldridge Worlds. I don't know if you can .com. I don't know if you can tell I'm full of myself with all my names on everything. So, but that has links to everything, social media links. You can go straight to Amazon and get the books if any of these sounded really cool to you. I didn't even talk about my baby, which is my novel, Last Nights, but you can check that out later.
Oh, okay. That's part 2.
That's Y'all ever have me back?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's kind of like I said, all of it's connected, but you can read everything separately if you like. But yeah, you can just look for me, Google my name, and you can find stuff. It's all there. Cool. If you want some, I'll send you some links to get everything.
Yeah. Yeah, please do. We'll put it on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing a bunch of shows coming up, a bunch of conventions. So if you're in the Atlanta area, on July 30th, there's Atlanta Comic-Con. It's a small, kind of like a more of an intimate hotel style show. They do 4 of them a year. I'll be there on January 30th. Up in Greenville, South Carolina. I think it's in April. I'm gonna be at SC Comic-Con. I believe it's April 9th and 10th. In May, I'm going to be at the Huntsville Comic Convention, I believe. That's in May. I don't know the date on that. If you're in Huntsville, Alabama. The big one I'm going to be at, if you're in the Charlotte area in the summertime, I believe it's July. I'm going to be at Heroes Con. I'll have a table there. I might be in not Lexington, Louisville in June. I'm still working that one out. After that, not sure, but you can find me at all those shows. That's a lot of them, but I just threw a bunch of stuff in there. But if you're in any of those areas and you want to come check me out and talk some trash, tell me my stuff stinks or whatever, I'll tell you.
No. we can put all the information on our YouTube page and Facebook page.
I think in the Atlanta area, pretty soon I'll have books in most of the comic book shops. They're usually in a lot of the comic shops, but I don't know what the situation on that is right now. I haven't done my rounds in a while, so I don't know who's got what. So I'll just ask your local comic book shop and tell them to contact me, and I'll give them as many books as they want. So,
I remember it was at Titans.
Was it Titans?
But that was pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Dr. had a couple books up in Marietta. First edition down in Peachtree City has some. I don't know. There's but it's as in Atlanta, some places that up in Augusta, the Augusta book usually has some of my stuff. I need to visit. I miss those guys. That's my home comic book shop. So
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you can find my stuff all over the place. And
Ooh.
If you want to talk sports, I'm a huge sports fan. I love the Knicks and I love the Giants. I love talking about that. So.
Oh no, not the Giants! Don't say that.
Gosh, you said the wrong
thing. It's not
thing.
me.
This the other sports fan that I know is this one.
Yeah, but I'm not the corporate. Okay,
Who do you
somebody
like?
else who doesn't like the Giants. It's not me.
Wait, is he an Eagles fan or a Cowboy fan?
He's a Cowboy.
All right, the interview is over.
Okay, cool. We ending anyway, so you can go.
My house is divided, so
yes, a house divided will not stand.
No, the only thing is not divided. He says it's better than.
Here he comes.
It's better than Washington. They're no longer called the other name. It's better than Washington.
They're get a new name.
The team with no name.
Tell John Henry to stay on his podcast. And get out of our podcast. Tell him that.
Babe, you heard Mika. Yes.
Yeah, stay on yours. Wrestling
got-
Rocks.
His was postponed twice.
Oh no.
Yeah, his
He do
friend who is a Washington fan is sick. He has bronchitis. So,
Oh no.
yeah. But he
He
said at
does
least
the
you're not
ball
Washington, so it's good.
Well, his podcast is on Wrestling Rocks, right?
Yeah, his podcast is called Wrestling Rocks. It's all about wrestling and everything. They talk about yeah, and it's adults only, no kids, even though our toddler is awake while listening to
yes,
it.
John Henry, that's your plug. Okay, that's enough.
podcast.
Oh God. Anyway, you can catch us. Let me hurry up for John Henry get in the middle of this podcast. You can catch us on Facebook at Two Blurred Girls Podcast. You can also catch us on Twitter at Blurred Two Girls. We're also on Instagram at Two Blurred Girls _podcasts. You can subscribe and like us on YouTube, Two Blurred Girls Podcast. We're on Twitch. We don't do, maybe we'll do some video games soon, but you can catch our podcast there in the meantime. Two Blurred Girls. We're full of ourselves too, KJ.
Yeah, we're so full of ourselves.
We have an audio show on Apple. We're on Apple. We're on Google. Also iHeartRadio. Very proud of that. Also Anchor.
On Beyond.
Do you have Spotify on there?
No, but we are on Spotify. We're on Goodpods. Goodpods is like the Facebook for podcasters. And we're on Amazon Music and Audible as well.
Yeah.
So you can catch us there. Yeah, I will make sure I update those last two. Thank you, ma'am. So
You're welcome.
That's the end of our wacky show.
Yay!
Eldridge, yay! Thanks for coming on our show, and we hope to have you back.
Please come back. Please come back. Even though I'm married to a cowboy, come back.
Well, you got the Florida State shirt on. I like that. So
yeah,
go Seminoles.
Okay, yeah, I have to rep the Seminoles too. My sister went to Florida State, so yes, Seminoles. Woo, Seminoles! All right. Anyways, tell I'm not a sports person. Yeah, so that's our show. So thanks for watching, and tune in next Friday with a whole new episode, and we'll let you know what that episode is.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank y'all.